All right, crypto. Here it is. A digital currency, which blah, 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 blah. To learn more, watch Forkast. Okay, so language is a slippery thing, isn't it? Modern definitions constantly being added, changed, reinterpreted. Crypto has been doing its best to expand our lexicons over the last few years, of course, but is that only in English? And if so, does that matter? Well, that's what we're looking to in this episode, asking whether crypto translations could ultimately boost financial inclusion for millions of people across the globe in the coming years. We're also talking about that other crucial modern language, data. There is a lot of it. So what's the blockchain doing with it? And what are the implications for all of us about that? So when I was a kid, my mum used to tell me I was one in a billion, which sort of made me feel a bit special, unique, in a good way, I think. Anyway, she meant I was one of a kind, but for many of us, identity is as much about belonging as it is about standing out, isn't it? Being one of a billion, not just one in a billion. And identity is certainly part of owning crypto for a lot of us. And a billion, interestingly, is how many of us there are likely to be in the next decade. Out of a projected global population of 9 billion by 2030, just over 10% of us are projected to earn some form of cryptocurrency. Is that a lot? I don't know. Maybe it could be more. So what's getting in the way of that being the case? Yeah, technology, yes, regulation, the usual suspects are of course big things there, but language is also a hurdle. And for most, crypto is in English. As Forkast Jenny Ortiz is about to tell you, moving that into local dialects could ultimately spark perhaps even greater adoption and financial inclusion for many as well.
A joint report by Boston Consulting Group and Bidget and Foresight Ventures said individual investors are currently the biggest holders of crypto. It added that Southern Asia accounts for about 2 to 3% of global crypto trading value, with India, Thailand, and Vietnam making up the largest markets. That's why it's no surprise that crypto exchanges and other crypto advocates are pushing to promote education on digital assets in local languages in the region. Philippine-founded Coins.PH, which also operates in Thailand, is one. It offers crypto education through its Coins Academy. Coins is offering guides in English, Filipino, and Thai. Speaking to Forkast, Wei Zhou, CEO of Coins.PH, explains why it's vital to promote cryptocurrency use in local languages.
I think most of crypto's communication, whether it's projects, whether it's fundraising, whether it's sort of like games, Web3. I think the primary language for all of that is English right now. And I think for us, where we have primary areas of operation in the Philippines and Thailand, some of crypto, people, right? Some of the audience that we market to can communicate in English, but a lot of the audience that we communicate to, don't speak English, or so I think it's very vital for us then to sort of transfer that knowledge into the local language, whether it's Tagalog in the Philippines or if it's Thai in Thailand, and and in other languages as we expand globally.
Meanwhile, Bitskwela, a Philippine-led edutech platform that aims to make Bitcoin and cryptocurrency education accessible, offers its crypto courses in 4 languages. They are English and 3 major local languages in the Philippines, namely Filipino, Cebuano, and Ilocano. Giro Reyes, CEO of Bitskwela, told Forkast why it's so important to champion education in the country with the 5th largest crypto ownership in the world.
I personally believe that crypto adoption, fundamental adoption in the Philippines or in any country for that matter, cannot happen without proper education. You can't have a country pouring billions of pesos or the currency, whatever, into this asset class if they don't understand it, right?
Now, aside from education, Zhou said the other important thing to promote is crypto inclusion. Moreover, he believes more people will be open to owning other kinds of digital assets, which will then kickstart the so-called ownership economy.
We believe firmly in that the ownership of digital assets is actually a good thing. And I think tokens is just the beginning, just one type of digital assets that people can trade because it's fungible. But there are other types of digital assets. That being said, there's a lot of just sort of general knowledge you need to sort of get up to speed on in terms of knowing how to hold digital assets, right? How to store it, how to transfer it. And fundamentally, what are digital assets, and how to not get scammed by it, which is, I think, is kind of a common thing that we've been seeing in terms of sort of the mass crowd.
Zoe's concern over scams was echoed by Reyes. He also emphasizes the need for crypto platforms to promote education to help investors avoid bad financial decisions.
If you're a platform that's introducing this new asset class and you want to introduce it to Web2 natives, the first thing you should do is educate them on Web3, not directly lead them to the financial products, right? Because that could just give the image that you're just you just want them to trade for the fees and whatnot, right? And that often leads with a lack of education. That often leads to lack of proper financial understanding, crypto literacy, which all leads to bad financial decisions one way or another.
I'm Jenny Ortiz, Forkast.
Okay, let me ask you this. How much is a quintillion? It sounds like a pub quiz question, doesn't it? I guess you'd probably struggle to imagine it. So picture this. It's 1 followed by 18 zeros. Let's put that on the screen for you so you can see. Now, while it's difficult to be precise, some reports reckon humans generate about 2.5 quintillion bytes of these every day in data. But even that number may be a bit of an underestimate. So what are we doing with all of that information? How is it being managed, and how much of it is actually getting utilized? Let's have a quick chat about it with Sylvan Zhang, who's from Starboard Ventures. Sylvan, data, the currency of our age, really. I think it's a fair characterization, isn't it? It's always interesting to talk to people like yourself who understand it perhaps better than most. Can you just sort of describe for us really what data is, in particular in the context of blockchain, and especially with reference to everything that you're doing at the moment?
Got you. So basically, there are two types of data that we're talking about, right? So the first thing is called a on-chain data, right? So basically, you can consider blockchain, including Filecoin, as a ledger that is visible and transparent to everybody. So of course, we're talking about public blockchains here. And all the transactions, all the behaviors, like user behaviors, user activities are being recorded on chain. So the blockchain itself is a really, really big and also very valuable database. And the next thing that we're talking about is what we call like metadata. For example, if I take a photo, right? For example, if we're recording this interview and then we decide to upload it to a cloud service, for example, right? That's a different kind of data that we're talking about, right? And that's also a very unique part about Filecoin, because it's the largest decentralized storage network on Earth. So it also, like, apart from being like a big public ledger, a big online database that tracks everyone's behaviors and activities on the blockchain, it also serves to preserve some of the most important human information and also lots of data, and it provides that kind of a capacity as well.
And these elements are interesting as well, aren't they? I'm thinking in particular, you've had some interesting posts, for instance, on gas burning, on something called data cap as well. We'd love to hear about that, and tell us a little bit more.
So basically, the gas fee, like the dynamics of the gas fee that's being burned, that's being committed to the network, is a good proxy of how busy the network is, right? And if you see like a uptrend of the network gas fee, just usually means that the network is getting busier and more people are adopting the service on the blockchain, right? So that's basically a big part that we study, and that is a very good proxy in terms of how busy and how active the blockchain is. And speaking of data cap, it's a different kind of notion. It's actually an incentive layer for people to to increase or encourage more people to adopt Filecoin ask the storage network to store useful data. So we have this kind of a notary system that if you present to a notary and saying that, oh, I have a strong need to store some data that has like great value, and the notaries will then provide like all the applicants after they're getting approved with something called data cap, and then it's like a voucher for storage clients to use on their storage deals. And by applying the data cap, it actually gives the storage providers a 10x boost in their storage power. So that's like a notion in terms of blockchain block rewards calculation.
Sylvain, so how innovative is this really? Because very clearly things are taking a lot of inspiration at the moment from Ethereum and things happening elsewhere on blockchain, but people are still talking about Filecoin as a source of innovation itself. So can you just sort of situate that in the broader context for us?
So Filecoin and its capabilities of providing decentralized storage service actually makes it a very vibrant storage marketplace, so that it can provide like decentralized and also Web3 services to like everyone, and then all of that is being transparent and being visible through the blockchain technology. So it has like one extra layer of like capabilities that is very different from blockchains like Ethereum, right? For example, if you want to actually store, for example, like if you have an NFT, right? So oftentimes the NFT, the metadata of that NFT is being stored elsewhere. It's not on the Ethereum blockchain, and also it's the status of that piece of storage is not being validated by the Ethereum blockchain. But that is for the Filecoin's perspective, that is available, right? So all of the storage is constantly being proved, constantly being validated by the blockchain, so that you actually have a secure and transparent storage marketplace, as well as a fully functional public blockchain.
All right, thanks for those insights, Sylvain. Looking forward to hearing from you at Phil Singapore 2022. That summit kicks off on September 26th, right here in Forkast's backyard. Make sure you don't miss it. That is it for this episode. Like and subscribe to this video for more content like it, and let us know your thoughts on what's happening in the comments below.